I'm getting in touch with my feminine side. Is there anything wrong with that?
All right, sir. Talk to me about Braille support. I rest my case.
I always wipe my device. I always do.
I didn't realize you actually needed to have a friend that owned an Apple Watch to use the walkie-talkie, so I've been just walking myself.
And we're going to dedicate this podcast going out to you across the oceans to Finland. Thank you, Emmy.
Because blind people don't watch TV anyway.
We listen to TV.
Yes. The things that I have wanted to do on it, I have not encountered any major accessibility issues.
But hey guys, as long as you don't tell a lie and your nose grows. Accidentally hits the microphone. Okay.
Yeah.
3, 2, and a 1. Welcome back to another That Blind Tech show. It's been a while since we've spoken to you because Allison's guide dog was tied up in her microphone wire. So,
Yes.
Allison, you finally got Gary untangled.
I got him untangled. He's safely on the couch. All is well. The computer is not on the floor. We are all good.
And for those of you out there who want to report Allison to her guide dog school, we're just kidding. She doesn't really tie up her guide dog in the microphone wire.
He was trying to jump up on the couch, and well, there were wires there, and yeah, so we're good.
Now you're in trouble again because there are certain guide dog schools that don't let their dog up into their couch.
Southeastern leaves it to the owner's discretion.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. Jeff, what about you? You tying anybody up there in Minnesota? Welcome back stateside.
I plead the fifth, and thank you for the welcome back. Yes.
Did you get to go to the Center for Described Video and tell them to stop using confusing British words when describing things like knockers and knackers and all kinds of weird words? Yeah. Boot?
Lorry?
He puts in the boot.
A lorry comes down the street.
Well, what you can't say is fanny pack, because over there, fanny's a different word.
Oh, yes. That means something totally different there.
Yeah, and I told him, I said, but we have Fanny Farmer. I don't know. People must like that candy.
And Fannie Mae.
Yeah. So we kid because we love the Brits, and
yes.
Hey, you guys still got that little island up there, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and thank you for all the audio described material on Blind Mice Fault.
Thank you very much for that stuff and everything. I wanted to start out this show with a little disclaimer about the GE microwave that's been talked about a lot out there in the blind tech world, because I actually own the microwave, and unfortunately some shows have reported that the ALEXA, or as we call it, the A-Lady, is built into the microwave, and it's definitely not built into the microwave, or I've been using it wrong for the last 4 months. So just a little disclaimer. I think some people are a little gung-ho. We'll be getting into all the Amazon exciting products that are coming out, but unfortunately it's not built in, and the scan to cook thing, not fully 100% accessible. So if you do end up getting that microwave, it is a great microwave. You can control it with your A-Lady, but you do need a separate device to control that microwave.
So Brian, if you put an Echo Dot inside the microwave and turned it on, would it then be baked in?
You melted it.
I did not think about that, Jeff. Maybe that's what the other podcasts meant and we're talking about, so I stand corrected. I am wrong. But I am thinking, just for those of you who don't like to think out there, if you put your dot in the microwave and turn it on, bad things may happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Good disclaimer, Brian.
Yes. We're all about safety here at That Blind Tech Show. And
yes.
The good people in India are about safety. This story cracked me up. I had to do a double take when I read this story, that India is introducing selfie-free zones to save people's lives.
Oh, good God.
I've always felt selfies were just stupid, Allison, but does this take it to a whole new level?
Yes, it does. And I actually saw something, but I see why it needs to happen, because I saw a clip on the news of this dude. It was in Australia. It wasn't in India. But he was sitting on this huge crocodile trying to take a selfie. And this guy was like, all right, mate, you got to get up before he eats you. And he did get up before the crocodile ate him, but it would have served him right. He would have won a Darwin Award. I mean, come on, people. Do we have to take our pictures everywhere? And do we have to make it look like we're in these terrifying, awful situations in our selfies? That's not real life. I don't get it.
Well, that one woman and her boyfriend fell off a cliff because they're trying to get the perfect selfie.
Dumb.
It's like I always say, sighted people be stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've never taken a selfie, so I guess I'm always in a selfie-free zone, but this cracked me up that India actually had to implement selfie-free zones to protect its population.
Do you think there'll be a lot of people taking selfies in front of that sign?
That would go viral, so if you want to get a lot of followers, that would go viral and everything. So I did once jump out of an airplane without a parachute and took a selfie, but it did not end well. So that was my only attempt at a selfie.
Well, that's because you only put the parachute on your iPhone.
That's right, because I didn't listen to that blind tech show about the proper ways to jump out of an airplane without a parachute and everything.
That's right. We are Apple lovers.
Yes. So
we are.
Allison, I know you've never been a Facebook fan, but are you less so now that they've exposed 50 million accounts and they don't know how or why or who or where or what?
Yes, Senator. Yeah, I am. I'll have to get back to you on that, Senator. But yeah, I'm really glad I deleted my Facebook account. Hopefully before all this happened, because when I did have a Facebook account, all my stuff was on there, all my info. So I deleted it long enough ago, I think, that I'm okay.
Well, what about you, Jeff? You run multiple groups on Facebook. Was your account or any of your groups hacked?
I have no idea. From reading the article and a few other articles about because it just went all viral. They said that they tapped into it, but they changed the keys for it, and then they changed up to 90 million keys just to ensure that they didn't get so far in. And, it's one of those things that what more bad news can Facebook take? But I have a hunch that little Timmy down the street's probably calling his friend Billy and say, got into Facebook. Ooh. And the funny thing is, Timmy's not even Russian.
By the way, I do want to mention at this point of the show, we will soon be launching the That Blind Tech Show Facebook group. So if you still are on Facebook, all four of you, we expect you to join.
You won't be interacting with Allison Hartley on Facebook. Sorry, guys.
I thought you were going to moderate the group. I was going to make you main moderator or note taker.
Note taker.
I'll be an absentee manager.
Okay, you'll be the secretary and record the minutes. And
yes,
Jeff, I think Amazon's new motto is "We want the world and we want it now." What do you think? I think their plan is to take over the world.
I think they're doing a great job because you can't throw a dead cat without hitting an Amazon device.
Poor cat.
I know. Well, I heard if we mention cats, our ratings will go up.
Oh, okay.
Meow. Allison, did you listen to Amazon's much more exciting announcement than Apple's and all their...
I did not listen to the keynote, but I read a comprehensive article of all the stuff that's coming out, all the new Echoes. I kind of want the expensive
the toilet seat lid, everything. It's there. The garbage disposal, everything's going to be it.
Yep. I want the more expensive Echo speakers that came out, but I don't know if I'm ever going to get them.
Right before Amazon held this announcement that nobody knew was coming, like the day before device, so I now have the A-Lady in the shower.
Wait a minute. Okay, how did you get that? How did you get that set up?
I bought, I think it's called the UB something speaker for $100 on Amazon that has the...
And she's built in.
Unlike the GE microwave, yes, she is built into it.
Yes. What I don't like about those ones that have her built in, though, is that it's the API. So there are always going to be some things that don't work. Like I think now Sirius XM works on all the ones that have... It does,
because I have Sirius XM, it does.
The API, okay. Well, that's good to know.
Let's go back. Brian, you said you had a lady in the shower. Am I correct, sir?
Why are you not still there?
I had to move on because we know Jeff keeps everything PG, so I couldn't go into the details about how she loofahs my back. By the way, what's a loofah?
It's behind you. I don't know.
Yeah, I got this so, I could decide to take a shower and listen to whatever game I've gotten. Because in the 6 weeks that I have had SiriusXM, I've still yet to listen to a minute of music. It's been all sports talk radio all the time. And
but at least now you've finally been able to take a shower for the first time in 6 weeks. That's a really good decision.
It is.
How is that speaker working for you?
It's good, but the one thing I do not like, I have noticed when I stream something from Downcast to the speaker, it crackles pretty bad. So the Bluetooth on it doesn't seem to be as good as it is playing something per se. I don't know if it's the Downcast, Apple, or what that's causing the interference. And I do have my iPhone when I'm taking a shower sitting on the toilet. So
that's a domesticated iPhone.
I'm saying.
Well, that seems similar because when I had DirecTV and it would rain, it would kind of get digitally, broken up and stuff like that. So
you're saying the Apple device can't tell the difference between shower water and rain?
Not yet. Stay tuned.
They're going to get a patent for that. That's coming soon. But out of all these devices, the only one that I thought could be of interest to me, because I've got Dots and Echoes. You take 2 steps in my house and you're talking to an A-Lady device.
Yeah, I've got a bunch too. I've got 3 Dots and yeah.
It's a little out of control here and everything. What about A-Lady on a soap? Like soap on a rope?
PG, Brian.
I mean, that could be the next thing that's useful. But the microwave, I was really disappointed. At first, when I heard about the $60 microwave that was coming, I said, ooh, I spent $140. I'm kind of bummed, and it's probably built in. Then I found out, 1, it's not built in. 2, it's only like a 600 watt, very low.
Ooh,
I heard that. Yeah, I heard it's very tiny.
Oh, no, Brian, it's 700.
See, I was thinking it would have to be at least 900 to 1,000 to make it worth it.
No. All the packages you buy are rated at 1,000 watts.
Well, it's only meant to heat up microwave popcorn because it has an order microwave popcorn button built into it, but not the A-Lady. So it did not get great reviews on the teardown, so I am kind of thankful I did get the GE one, which I would highly recommend.
Yeah, we may be getting that soon because the talking microwave is starting to blink out a little bit.
What about you, Jeff? Any of these new products, or are you A-Ladied out like most of us?
Well, Brian, unlike you, I cannot get A-Ladied out. So first we have the 3rd generation Echo Dot, and that's selling for $49.99. It's available for pre-order. It'll start shipping on October 11th. And the difference between the two is from a 1.1 inch driver to a 1.6 inch driver for the speaker, which will make it 70% louder. So that's something people might be interested in at that price.
Okay.
And then we got the Echo Plus 2nd generation for $149.99. And that too is available for pre-order and will start shipping on October 11th. And the Plus is going to come with the Zigbee hub, so you can set up your home devices. You don't need a separate hub for that. And there's improved sound with Dolby Play 360-degree audio. There's noise reduction, so you'll be able to speak to your Amazon device while playing music. And you can now pre-order the Echo Plus, and it will begin shipping October 11th. Next is the Echo Input, and this will sell for $34.99. And what it is, it's a slim, circular device that has 2 ways of connecting, either Bluetooth or it can plug in with a 3.5 millimeter jack into your existing Bluetooth speaker. So then you can do the voice commands that you would do to any other Amazon device, except for it won't have Bluetooth calling capabilities. So if you're one that already plugs in your Dot or other device into a Bluetooth speaker for better sound, you can just get this device and bang, there you go. And the Echo Input is not ready for pre-order as of yet, so stay tuned. And then we move into what a lot of people are excited about is the Echo Sub. And this is going to sell for $129.99. It's ready for pre-order and it'll start shipping October 11th. And this is a 6-inch woofer that plays up to 100 decibels of deep bass sound.
Ooh.
And you can pair it with 1 or 2 Echo devices. Now, I wouldn't say this is a replacement for your 5.1 system in your home theater or anything. And considering how we use our Echo Dots, or how you could use your Echo Dot, I'm kind of interested how you're going to use the subwoofer in that type of configuration. Are you going to use 2 Echo Dots and a subwoofer? Maybe it just sounds good. I'd like to hear some reviews once people hook these up, how they're going to use them, where they're going to do it. If I center mine in the kitchen, that subwoofer is just going in the sink.
Yeah.
Next, we have the Echo Link, and this is a device that'll allow you to stream, as they say, high-quality audio music to your existing speakers. Now, if you have existing speakers, you probably have an amplifier or some means of doing it, so you'll just be replacing it with this, and it'll allow you to have the A-Lady available into your system. And this is not available yet, but you can sign up to be notified. And the sister companion to this is the Echo Link amp, which adds 60 watts of power to your existing speakers. So unless you have speakers with wires sitting around the house and no amp, I don't see the benefit of having this added to your system. But it's interesting, so be glad to hear how people go about using this. And this too, you can sign up to be notified when it will go on sale. And then there's the Echo Auto, and that's for the car. Put it on the dashboard of the car. There's about 8 microphones in there, so it'll detect you calling out commands to give to the A-Lady to do stuff. It'll also be rigged up to work with your garage door opener, so all you drivers out there, go get it for just $24.99. And then there's something that I think people will be interested. It's the Fire TV Recast, which is a DVR, and that's going to sell for $229. And the Recast is available for pre-order and will be shipping on November 14th. This is Amazon's answer to a DVR. It'll let you record to your Fire TV, your Echo Show, and Fire tablet, and compatible mobile devices. That be Android? It says you can record up to 2 to 4 shows at one time, and it claims that you can stream to multiple devices at one time.
The only thing is, it's only going to work with an antenna, so I have no interest in it, but it's going to record about 180 hours or something.
Ooh.
And the last thing on this list is the Amazon Smart Plug. For $24.99, you can pre-order it, and it ships on October 11th. The thing that I read about the Amazon Smart Plug is that it works with Amazon devices. Just Amazon devices. That's not too smart for me. So that's it. A lot of stuff. And as for that microwave, it seems like something that a salesman would carry around. Nice, small, compact, just as a sample.
Amazon, like I said, they're going after any company they can. Jeff Bezos isn't happy being, the richest man in the world. He's got to be the richest man in the galaxy.
I kind of want the Link amp. I don't need it, but I kind of want it.
So basically, to sum up, Amazon's coming out with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Google it and you'll learn out more. We'll have a link in the show notes to it. We could talk all day about Amazon, but that's what they would want us to do, and we refuse to bow down to the man.
That's right.
Moving on, though, an app that we talked about a long time ago, Lazarillo. I've always been a Blind Square user because I love the fact I can just open it, shake it, and it tells me where I am. The one thing that Blind Square GPS does not do, step-by-step directions, which Lazarillo now does for completely free. Allison, have you ever used Lazarillo?
I have not. I got frustrated with Blind Square because of the lack of turn-by-turn directions, having to always, use another app. So I'm going to check out this Lazarillo.
Yeah, I checked it out, and when I pulled up, get step-by-step, it used to just come up with Google Maps and the useless Apple Maps, which is terrible with VoiceOver.
Mm-hmm.
And now Lazarillo was one of my options. That was pretty cool. How about yourself, Jeff? Have you ever played around with Lazarillo?
Open Lazarillo.
Lazarillo. Stop exploration. Button. Intersection East River Road with 60-way northeast 156 feet to the northwest. Bus stop, 221 feet in front of you.
Well, I did a small demo on it a while back, but this is before that next feature, so I was excited when I heard you talking about it, so I'm looking into it. There's another one that I just downloaded, and it's called Here We Go, and it's very accessible. Yeah, so I love having options.
It's great to hear. Great to hear. Lots of great GPS options for you out there nowadays, including Microsoft Soundscape, which I only really used once, and I just don't like having 2 earbuds in when I'm walking through heavily traffic.
Yeah. Does not sound safe at all.
No, not New York City streets. Those cab drivers don't really pay attention to where they're going. No offense to any of our blind cab drivers out there that are listening.
Live the life you want or something. Yeah.
I tell you, that's why I tell everybody, take a right at Ohio to avoid those New York blind cab drivers.
You guys know me pretty well, so you probably know I don't really like change. What I like even less is when they change how my search engine operates.
Ruh-roh.
Jeff.
Brian.
Jeff.
Brian.
Have you read that Google's planning on changing the way we do search?
Well, do you actually think it's an improvement, or would they do anything that won't help the average person anyways? I mean, they're not going to make it worse.
I disagree. I think what they did a few months ago and they didn't announce anything really sucks because now when you do a Google search instead of getting to the search results, sometimes I do a search and I've got to go through 8 YouTube videos, which I have zero interest.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I don't know
hate
if there's a
that.
way to turn that off. I've looked in settings. I haven't found anything. So if anybody out there's found a way to turn off the social network search results and the YouTube videos, go ahead and
Yes.
text us in at Blind Tech Show or send us a longer email with step-by-step directions where to find it at thatblindtechshow@gmail.com.
What
Please.
I've done is I switched to headings. This is on my Mac. I go straight down and I go right past those.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, it's just extra steps. Yeah.
It's extra H's or extra
Down arrows.
down arrows or extra flicks on the phone because that's what I do most of my browsing.
One tap too much.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just really annoying. I mean, there should be a way to filter those things out. I mean, if Google has the time to change things for certain political parties, they should allow us to change things to get rid of the stupid videos. Hey,
What are you really saying?
I'm just saying what I read on Google in my search result. Allison, did
Yes.
you just drop $1,400 on an iPhone and only get one charge out of it?
Well, I've gotten more than one charge out of it. I did not actually drop the full 1400 because I signed up for the iPhone upgrade program. I had bought my last phone outright because I had to get it on eBay, but I had decided that now I was going to just join the iPhone upgrade program and be able to trade it in every year. So I've done that. So I've only spent $70 so far, but no, I've gotten way more than one charge.
Yeah, but you've heard about the people out there that are having serious charging issues?
Yeah, and I feel bad, but I'm glad it's not me.
I
I'm not
just
gonna
say
lie.
cut up your credit card and be done with it.
Be done with it. Charging. Yeah, so if you're having one of these issues, yeah, it's pretty funny. If they expect everybody to be charging wirelessly, if you're charging your iPhone and it's just not charging, you could unlock the screen, then plug in the charger, and then it supposedly works. But this was a pretty serious issue that some people were having. Did you read about this, Jeff?
Yeah, 12.1 that just came out now tells the iPhone when you plug in that phone, whoosh, it's going to charge no matter what you got set up. So they fixed that.
Yeah.
And there's also those people that own Belken charging stations that no longer work with the new iPhones. So. And it's interesting because Belkin did announce a product that's coming out in December that I was thinking about getting that will charge the iPhone 8 Plus and your Apple Watch and AirPods.
Ooh.
Oh.
I don't know, though, but all of a sudden the fact Belkin did change all their products to say may not work with your new iPhone.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Now, that's not like Apple. Wouldn't they actually just create a dongle for the dongle's dongle?
Well, AirPower, and I got a question for you guys. What do you think we'll see first? AirPower, the Loch Ness Monster, or Bigfoot? What do you think, Allison?
My money's on Bigfoot or Loch Ness.
Yeah.
Or Loch Ness? Jeff, if I threw Cold Fusion into the mix, what do you think happens first?
Oh, jeez. It's been a while. It's just this myth, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think we're ever going to see AirPower. I think Apple has abandoned it.
That's something I was hoping for.
And yet they reference it in their literature, so I don't understand. You know, in the paperwork that comes with the iPhone, you are told, use AirPower to charge, but there's no AirPower. It doesn't exist.
Well, I was in the North Woods of Minnesota because I heard they spotted an AirPower.
Oh boy,
AirPower.
you were gonna hunt it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grab the gun, Ellie Mae. We're gonna go get that somewhere.
Apple mentions a lot of things though, like group FaceTiming calls that never come out, and or ECGs on the new Apple Watch. I remember the good old days when Apple wouldn't announce stuff until like right before it would come out. They seem to be swinging and missing an awful lot these days. Allison, you've been running iOS 12 now probably for a few weeks. What do you like? What don't you like?
Well, I've been running it since the beginning, since beta 1 on my old phone, and now I have it on my new. I can't really think of anything I don't like. I've not had problems with it. It's been the most stable beta that I had ever run. I'm starting to use some Siri shortcuts now. I have one to convert longer YouTube videos into MP3s. I've got one to text Jeremy when I'm on the way home. Some stuff like that. it's been kind of interesting to play with these shortcuts and see what they can do.
What about yourself there, Jeff? What do you like? What don't you like about iOS 12?
Well, I'm starting to get frustrated with a couple things. One of them is the notifications, how they stack them up, they group them together, and it says group now. And with this latest update, I've noticed that when I tap on it, it brings me to the link instead of ungrouping them like it did for a little while. So if there's like 5 of them from one news organization, when I tap on it now, it brings me to the link. It used to just spread the 5 out.
Are you still on 12 or are you on the beta? It's a new beta.
You're running 12.1, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm not. So that must be a beta bug
Not
specifically.
Either. Again, me with my notifications, two issues I've had with notifications is a lot of times when you expand them and you're reading them, and then when you flick to clear, it's showing the name of of previous notifications that have been completely cleared. It just seems Apple can't get the notifications right. I've also noticed they're still not coming in chronological order. Even if they're in a group, sometimes you have to go through ones that came in hours ago just to get to the group of the one that came in a minute ago, which is ludicrous.
Grouping is not always consistent either. That is one complaint I would have. It's not a deal breaker, but it's kind of annoying that it's not always consistent.
It is. And the thing that I loved at first was this new auto pass field where, all of a sudden for apps and stuff, it remembers your passwords. Well, I finally signed up for Acorns, and in my infinite wisdom, I decided, let Apple create a smart password. And then 2 days later, I went to go log in to Acorns. Apple entered my 20-character password. And when I went to log in, it said incorrect password.
Ooh.
Tried it again. Incorrect password. Then I went over to the show password. I one finger double tapped on that, and when I went to the password field and tried to navigate character by character, VoiceOver wouldn't read me what was there.
That's not good.
That'll drive you acorns. I mean, nuts.
Yeah.
So Apple, I'm done allowing you to create me private passwords. I was able to reset it and set my own password, and everything worked perfectly fine. But that's ridiculous that Apple created me a password and then it auto-filled everything and it was incorrect. How does Apple, Jeff, get their own password wrong that they created?
That is a little crazy. I use 1Password and I love it. For Acorns specifically, when I was logging back into my account on the new phone, I did have to go into 1Password and copy it. It did not give me the autofill option. But for most, I would say for 99% of fields now, it will autofill for me. And so I'm really, really enjoying it.
Yeah, for all the passwords I've self-created, the remembering the passwords, would you like to use and what is right above the keyboard has worked fine. This one specific incident, but that's all it takes, especially when it's your investment account and you can't log into it.
That's kind of a big deal, yeah. I highly recommend 1Password over Apple's password manager. I'm also multi-platform, so it makes it impossible for me to use Apple's iCloud exclusively for that.
And 1Password's still working perfectly with VoiceOver?
Yep, it's about $3 a month. Yep, and I've really enjoyed it.
How about yourself there, Jeff? Have you stopped using 1, 2, 3, 4 as your password?
I understand the encryption, the importance of it. One thing that I've noticed is, like, I go into some websites, it autofills or suggests a password, username, and then it wants my fingerprint. It's like they're just adding layer after layer. I can't imagine what it's going to be like in 5 years. Now, stand on one foot, hit foot. I don't know what it's going to make me do, but it
Prick
seems
your
like
finger
it's.
and put a drop of blood onto the screen. Yes.
I can get that one. Yeah, I can.
I still don't understand why more apps don't make use of the fingerprint sensor and everything. And yes, Apple, you could take my home button away when you pry it from my cold, dead hand.
That iPhone 8 for a long time then.
Oh, yeah. So
that's as long as he lives that long.
Yeah, or why not Allison, can you use Face ID to log into anything or no?
Yes, I use Face ID in conjunction with 1Password. Basically, anywhere you use Touch ID now, you use Face ID. So
okay,
great.
Okay, so that's great. Yeah, so I don't know why more apps aren't making use of it. Both Chase makes use of it, Citibank makes use of it, so some applications are making use of it. It's good to see. And another issue I've noticed in iOS 12, and Jeff, you might be able to speak to this. I've noticed my AirPods don't connect as regularly as I put them in my ears. That I've had to go into Bluetooth several times and one finger double tap on connect AirPods. How about yourself? Are you having any connection issues with your AirPods?
No. None whatsoever.
It must be Minnesota must have better Bluetooth than New York.
And I've tried that new feature where you turn it on and you can actually listen to it. It works
How's that
as
work?
the microphone. It works really cool. I can understand it. Like when I was teaching in woodworking, some people that were hard at hearing had this device that I would wear around my neck. So when I'm talking, they can hear me better no matter where I am in the room. And so this was like, if I put the phone somewhere else, I could hear exactly, I could eavesdrop really craftily. So if you do have a set of AirPods and you want to use the hearing feature, go into your settings,
heading,
down to Control Center,
button,
and then you will find Customize Controls.
customize controls, button,
And this will then populate all the options that you have. We're going to go find hearing.
flashlight, reorder flashlight, timer, calculator, camera, home, Apple TV remote, hearing, more controls,
You want to go find hearing and activate that, and that'll put it in the list that'll show up on your control panel. Mine's already installed. Now, I don't know how important this is, but if you would like to reorder your list or move this to more towards the top, you can flick up or down and change the order.
hearing, move down, move up, remove, activate, default,
So let's go to the control center. So on an older iPhone, if you have the home button, just go to your home screen, touch your time at the top, and then do a 3-finger swipe up. And if you have a 10 series of phone without the home button, then you just want to swipe down from the top single finger and stop when you feel the haptic lift off, and it'll open the control panel. Just do a single finger double tap onto the hearing icon and
control center, airplane mode, switch button, off, hearing devices, button,
boom, you're going to be connected to your AirPods. And it'll tell you if they're connected or not.
Jeff Thompson's AirPods, not connected,
From here, it'll use the microphone that's on your phone, and you say something, and you'll hear a slight lag there. But if you imagine, if you're hard of hearing and you can't hear someone across the table that's talking during the meeting, you could definitely put this out into the center of the table or near the person that's talking, and that will amplify it into your earbuds. Plus, you can adjust the volume as well. Great design, great feature.
Yeah, it's a great feature that didn't get, got a little press, but it didn't get as much press as it should have. So that was just a great little feature. And the fact you didn't have to go out and buy new AirPods to get that feature was really nice. So that was something. One thing I've noticed that is absolutely terrible and has not gotten any better, in fact, I think it's gotten worse in iOS 12, is dictation. It's constantly butchering everything I'm saying. How about yourself, Allison?
I don't know. I'm not using it as much because I'm really getting into Braille screen input a lot. I'm finding that I can write a lot faster using that method of input. But when I've had to use dictation, it's been okay. It hasn't been any worse than normal, which isn't saying much. It isn't great to begin with. But
And it's easy to turn that on, right?
yeah, you just put it in your rotor. And I have it in a certain spot in my rotor so that I can get to it really quickly.
I have Get Better and Learn Braille. I think it's 365 on my to-do list. So that's why I'm using dictation. Or if I will take a full keyboard over dictation any day of the week because I type 180 words a minute. So yeah, I'm a really good typist.
Brian, if you would get that list in Braille, you might get there sooner.
I doubt it. You know how long? First off, if I had 365 items, I wouldn't be able to carry it around. It'd be too
That's
big.
true. It would be like a book,
Yeah, it'd be like the
like a
Bible.
volume of an encyclopedia or the Bible or something. Yeah.
My to-do book.
Our one special correspondent, Allison, has the HomePod, and we're going to ask Allison here about them in a second. But, Jeff, I was a little surprised that Tim Cook didn't come out when he was introducing the HomePod and say, the HomePod, the 5th most popular smart speaker on the market. They're giving everything else a ranking. The Apple Watch, the most popular watch in the world. How come he didn't brag about where the HomePod's ranking was, Jeff?
I don't know. A lot of people do swear by them. The audiophiles out there that really have a keen sense of
I've got
music.
2 of them. Yeah.
Some people are even selling their Sonos over the HomePods.
Someone might have sold a pair of them to you recently.
I love them. They work great in the kitchen.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
You sure do know how to pack some speakers, I tell you.
Oh, well, that is all down to the fine folks at the UPS store. I just literally gave them the speakers and the power cords and said, have at it. So,
What was really upsetting for me, here's the thing.
okay.
Okay, wait, there's a power cord in there?
How else are you going to plug them in? You have to plug them in. They don't have batteries.
That's right. I was thinking there was another cord because
No.
I took that thing apart and I got package all over it arrived when I was going to England, so I had to wait 2 weeks to get home,
Oh,
and that was the
goodness.
first thing I did,
Good
and I
Lord.
hooked them up.
Maybe you could do an unboxing because we know how useful those podcasts are. And maybe Allison could then do a boxing, and then you could do the unboxing. 'Cause I'm
That's
sure
right.
People
Yeah,
would love
I'm
to
so
listen
used
to
to
that.
recording unboxings that now maybe I can do a boxing next time.
Yeah.
Allison, you own multiple HomePods.
Two of
Guilty
them.
as charged.
Yes.
How excited are you about multiple timers?
I'm happy that David Woodbridge is happy because my poor man, all he's wanted forever has been multiple timers on the HomePods, and now he has them. And I can definitely see, like, for cooking.
I couldn't believe that's what Apple was bragging about. We now.
It is pretty cool, though. No, it actually is pretty cool because if you're doing multiple things in the kitchen, it makes it really easy to just be like, set pasta timer, set cookie timers,
Oh, I thought it was like if you had multiple kids and you wanted to send them on different timeout times. You know what I mean?
Well, you could do that too. I mean, however you want to do it. I'm not going to question your parenting. I like the phone call. I like the lyrics. I like that you can say, I've heard this song. It's a really good song. It's called Feel It Still by Portugal the Man. I don't have any idea who they are. I don't really know today's music, but I heard it on the TV on a commercial and I'm like, I like this song. So I just said to the HomePod, hey, person, play the song with the lyrics, blah, 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 blah. And then she just played it and it was brilliant. And I know I could do the same thing with my Echo Dot.
As part of the That Blind Tech Show fact checker team, I decided to put it through a test. Echo, what song has the lyrics blah 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 blah?
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
Right, Allison.
Allison, I expected better of you. Why didn't you say, hey, H lady? We now have the B lady for our dogs. I'm not going to run through the gambit of what we have, but I don't see multiple timers bumping the HomePod from the 5th best selling home speaker to the 4th best selling home speaker.
What's going to get it there is the sound quality because nothing, not even my Echo Dot with Bose speakers or my other Echo Dot with creative monitors comes close to this HomePod.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, you are our Mojave man because Allison's not running Macs really anymore. I've yet to upgrade to Mojave. What can you tell us about your upgrade experience to Mojave?
Well, everything seems to be working pretty good, except for there's a couple irritating things that I have experienced. Like when editing and I go back to undo something, it reads exactly one before that. So it's like if you did a delete and then you did a cut or something, if you undo something, it'll say the other one. It's like, wow, this is out of order. And I get no confidence out of it anymore because I know there's a pattern, but it might be math. I don't know what's going on here. So that's odd.
What's the name of that woman that was just named to the AAFB board?
Oh, Sarah something or other.
Yeah, somebody get her on the phone and tell her that they dropped the ball yet again on the Mac, Jeff.
Yeah, and I tell you another thing about this, what do they call it, dark mode?
Screen curtain?
No, because unless the app itself, the developers have built that into it, it doesn't do it.
That's disappointing.
I pick up light sensation enough that when I go from dark to light, it's like,
Ugh,
it's crazy. It's like,
I thought dark mode was what I look like after I come back from a Caribbean vacation, so I was really confused.
I think this is one of their best setups because, Activities is working, Brian. You'll be happy to know that. And Samantha works in my mail, and Alex works on everything else, so that's working great. In the mail, it does land on send again after you send something, so it's very minor. I use this workstation as my main workhorse in my daily activities, my work and everything. Now that I'm upgraded into it, everything's working really good. You'll be really happy with it when you upgrade to it. I think it really shows the work they've done on doing an update where they go back and fix everything, really concentrate on that, like you'll experience with iOS 12, 12.1, and you'll experience with Mojave. So people, update to it. It's awesome.
I've been having great fun with RSS and Lyre. I've been using that.
That's a good app. I've used that for years.
It's fantastic. Yeah, Lyra is a fantastic app. Now, I believe we are all Apple TV owners. Have any of you used it recently? Have you checked out the update?
My Apple TV is sitting in a bin of tech because I got my Amazon TV now and it's so much better.
Yeah, mine's not even plugged in anymore. So I have my Amazon TV, which works fantastic. I love how I could just click to the right, especially if I just played an Amazon title. I got one episode left to Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan with described
I gotta
video.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not as good as Sneaky Pete, but it's pretty good. How about yourself, Jeff? Are you still using your Apple TV?
I got the Apple TV. I haven't been watching TV. I just got back and been really getting...
From where?
From England and stuff.
Oh, that's right.
I'm still milking that out. And from where? And I haven't been into the TV scene. It's like the house just needed to be attended to. But my wife watches it, and so I haven't heard a problem yet. I do believe I had it set for automatic updates on that. So that'll be interesting. I'm going to go look at that, and I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, no, if you're out there and you're using the Apple TV and let us know how you like the update, because none of us have been using our Apple TV. I remember when I first got it, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. Then I had it.
Epic. Yeah. The third generation Apple TV was the best thing in the world. And then it all kind of started going downhill when they started introducing apps.
Once they started letting the app developers design their own apps instead of Apple handling everything, the accessibility went downhill, and I'm done. I've given up on the Apple TV. My Amazon TV works great.
Yeah, for the things that I have wanted to do on it, I've not encountered any major accessibility issues.
No, it's worked fantastic. Now, I was very excited to hear about the Apple Watch. Actually, out of everything, I thought that was the most interesting thing. But, Jeff, do you think Samsung comes out when they do their big announcement and says, Samsung Watch, the second most popular watch in the world?
They're probably right there. I don't know. Now we have so many iterations of the watch that are out there. I'm running that too, and I'm having trouble. It won't upgrade to the latest software, so I got to either call them up or do something. But I'm excited to hear from other people who have the brand new 4.
Oh, it's so good. I've not done as much with it as I have with my phone because the watch is kind of something I wear sort of just during the week, but I love it and it's so much faster. The walkie-talkie app is a little bit buggy, but it works.
I did not know Allison had an Apple Watch Series 4. Thanks so much for the walkie-talkie friend request, by the way, which I didn't realize you actually needed to have a friend that owned an Apple Watch to use the walkie-talkie. So I've been just walking myself and no talking.
Talking to yourself. Aw.
Yeah, so I too have the Apple Watch. I got the small little lady one because now that I've been losing all this weight, I have lady arms, which is a good thing because I get complimented on my nice nails. Now, it was the only one they had in stock, and I don't like wearing jewelry anyway.
Brian,
yes.
Is there a bigger story here?
Are we going to be talking to Brianna next week? Is that what you're trying to say?
Do you know what cat heels means?
I'm getting in touch with my feminine side. Is there anything wrong with that? I got the little ladylike one, and I like it better than the old bigger one I had because it barely feels like there's anything on my wrist, which is
So size doesn't matter.
Not to me. So I actually prefer things smaller, where if you have hands that are big, it makes things look bigger. To quote Mickey Mantle.
Up here. Baby.
Up here. I'm looking up here. Yes. Anyway, I've yet to kick in. I was excited to do the health thing, but then I found out you have to have a heart to actually monitor it. And
you're out of luck there, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. I went in to set up the heart thing, and because I am phobic when it comes to anything, it had like all these numbers, and I have no idea what a normal heartbeat's supposed to be. 120, 130, 140. So I figured I'd just leave that alone until I found that out. But what about yourself, Allison? Are you monitoring that heart of yours?
I am monitoring that lovely heart of mine. I haven't got any indicators, so I'm assuming that I'm okay.
Now, Jeff, in watchOS 5, did you notice that there are a lot more unlabeled buttons?
I have to tell you, mine is not updating. As if you would listen to this podcast as it's evolving.
I'm hosting. I now do recall that yours is not updating. So But are you noticing more unlabeled buttons in iOS 5?
Watch OS 5, you mean?
Watch OS 5. What podcast is this? Whose show is this? Early Alzheimer's.
Let's go back to my watch not updating to OS 5.
So you're saying, you sure there's not a finish download button that you haven't hit? Are you on Wi-Fi when you're updating? Is your watch connected to your charger when
Did
you're
you click your
updating?
heels 3 times and say there's no place like home?
I did not get that last notification. I've gotten all the other ones, everything. It's just, there's no connection. When I find my phone, it dings. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I can change everything on it. I'm connected to it. It syncs to it. And then when I hit that update button, it says, please move closer towards your phone. Make sure that you're not in airplane. Oh my gosh.
So weird. Wow.
What about you, Allison, on Watch OS 5? Have you noticed more unlabeled buttons?
No, not with the things that I have done with it so far, which has been fairly minimal. Basically just setting my activity and checking my move goal throughout the week. I don't like to check my move goal on the weekend because it's pretty depressing. But during the week, I do pretty well.
Why does mine always say 0? My dream is for one day the Apple Watch be able to monitor for how many hours you've laid on the couch for the day.
Yeah.
And you get rewards for the more time you lay on the couch. Isn't that a utopian society?
Right. On Saturday and Sunday, I would win. I would just win constantly at that. Yes.
Now, I'm picking up that Jeff has not updated his watch to OS 5.
Wow.
So, Allison, have you gotten Siri raised to speak to work? Because mine just is not.
Oh,
working.
she just goes whenever she wants. She triggers when I don't want her to. She doesn't when I do. No, I have not. I have to press the digital crown if I want her.
So you haven't gotten HS lady to work either.
No.
Oh, wow.
I've yet to been able to figure that out. Jeff, when you eventually get that watch updated, you'll have to test this and let us know.
I just want to know if I'm raising my wrist or if I'm falling, if I slipped. How's that going for you guys?
Falling, for us young people, yes, I'm still in that age range, is not automatically enabled. Allison, have you enabled fall mode?
I have not yet. I need to. I need to follow the steps in that article and just do it. My friend did, though, and he went to give his guide dog a rather large correction because he was acting a fool. The watch thought he fell.
Are you sure that wasn't the new dog abuse mode that calls the dog canine crew that come and scold you? That was at the very end of the Apple announcement. You didn't hear that?
Or it gets a sighted bystander. You're being so mean to that dog. Randomly, yes.
I'm so happy that fall mode is not enabled because then my drunken debauchery would be more embarrassing than it normally is.
According to your breath analyst from Apple, you should not be tapping that cane.
Well, that's what scares the bejesus out of me. Uber's eventually planning on having breathalyzers in their automobiles. Doesn't
But
that...
why? You're not driving.
I know, doesn't that ruin the whole point of designated drivers? Yeah, so...
Yeah.
They filed a patent for a breathalyzer to go in the vehicles. I couldn't
guess
understand
they don't
that.
want people getting too drunk and throwing up in the car,
Now, wait a second. Wouldn't the breathalyzer be for the driver so Uber knows their drivers are safe?
No, they're allowed to be intoxicated. It's the passengers that need to be sober.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've driven with some stoned drivers before. I have smelled the marijuana that they have just been smoking, before I got. I'm like, all right, as long as it's a short ride, dude.
Only one piece of advice for those drivers: edibles.
Yes.
Edibles. Yes, that's the way to go. So now, one thing that still disappoints me about the watch, Jeff, and I guess this really wouldn't affect you, is that you still need to wear AirPods to listen to any audio. I really don't get the point behind that.
It's so stupid. I hate that. Yeah.
Explain this to me.
Well, if you play any audio on the watch, the only way you're going to hear it is if you have an AirPod in or other Bluetooth.
To me, it sends it to the phone, the audio.
No, you could you could download music or play podcasts.
Presidential alert. Presidential alert. We interrupt this podcast to warn you that Brian Fischler will now be going into his assistive technology instructor mode. Beware, this is a presidential alert.
For example, I am subscribed to the Blind Abilities podcast as the only podcast in the Apple Podcast Player. The Apple Podcast Player now has an Apple Watch called Podcasts. So if I have my phone at home, for ET, I could then just pop in an ear pod and play from the watch directly to the AirPod and everything. But I don't understand why the speaker on the watch just can't play it
Yeah,
out
that would
loud
be
to
so
me.
much more convenient. It makes me mad. And plus I don't have, I'd have to use my Beats or something, and that's fine. But if I'm wanting to listen to something on my watch while I'm cleaning or doing whatever, I want to be able to have it on the speaker.
I'm still pouting a little bit. I thought he was talking to me like I was a kid.
I was trying to do that
Oh,
in a
Jeff.
fun little voice and everything. Well, we're gonna move on from the watch, and we're gonna take a little break and let Jeff update his watch to OS 5 right now. So.
Yeah, take all the time you need.
Yeah, might be a while.
Allison, you are the only one on this podcast, and I know everybody's been waiting to hear this, with a new iPhone. What did you go with, the S or the dumber named XS Max or whatever they're calling it?
I went with the 10S Max, and I love it. It feels just like the plus size phones of old that I used to have. It's not very heavy. It's a good weight in the hand. I've got an Apple leather case. I've dropped it twice, and it's fine.
I know it's large, but what about the girth? Because grip matters.
They never release those specs for some reason. And I would love to hear that coming out of Tim Cook's mouth.
It's definitely on the girthy side, but it's manageable. Yeah, the battery life is really great. I love the bigger screen now for Braille screen input. That took a little bit of getting used to, actually, because I got used to the size of the iPhone 10 for Braille screen input. Now I have to put my fingers a little wider apart for the dots, but it's working really well, and I am really glad I got it. I like the speakers are a little bit better, and I think it's a great machine.
Yeah, but if you listen to our last podcast, Allison, how is that phone fitting in your little ladylike pockets?
I never put phones in my pocket because they haven't fit in a very long time, since like the iPhone 5, and even that would fall out. But yeah, I have it in my purse. And
what about man-sized pockets? Will the phone fit?
Well,
in there?
if for on the weekends when I dress in drag and wear my Levi's,
It'll fit in there.
then yeah, it'll fit in there just fine.
501, right? With the button-up fly. There you go. And you said that speakers are a little bit better. Can you explain this? Because let me tell you one thing about my phone. When they said it's stereo, it's not really stereo. It's like...
Which phone are you running, Jeff?
I'm running the 7. But, it all comes out the bottom end and a little bit out the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not going to get really noticeable stereo until you get the 10. But on the 10S Max, the stereo separation, you can notice it a lot more now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the 8 Plus has great speakers, too. I've been really impressed. I've noticed a huge difference between the loudness of voiceover on the 8 Plus compared to my 7, which, by the way, going back to why did I upgrade to the new Apple Watch, I actually was able to turn in my Apple Watch Series 3 for $225, and hopefully nobody from Apple listens to this podcast, because my iPhone 7 that stopped working, where if I would flick to the right, nothing would happen. If I flicked to the left, sometimes it would flick, because I had dropped the screen. They gave me $200 for that.
Did you get a cellular Apple Watch?
I did, but I haven't activated the cellular because, again, you have to have friends to call on the watch. And I just 2019 goal,
That's cool. Make
friend.
Friends. Okay.
Friends.
Yeah.
It's 366 on the to-do list.
On your Max, how is the microphone? Do you notice any difference?
I do not notice a huge difference in terms of the microphone. I've not tried to record a video in stereo, because as of yet, you cannot use the stereo microphones on the newer iPhones to record directly into audio in stereo. You have to do a video and then convert it.
Ah.
And the great thing I hear about the new phone that Allison got, for those of you looking to disobey India's selfie law, it supposedly takes fantastic selfies.
So I have heard.
So, Jeff, you're probably going to have to get a new Apple Watch soon if you do want to upgrade. Why don't you tell the listeners why it's important to wipe your devices?
I always wipe my device. I always do.
You're very clean that way.
I've wiped my watch just lately and rebooted it and restarted it. That didn't help either. But you really want to clean out your device, because when you trade it in, you don't know what's going to go on behind the scene at the Apple store. You never know. So I would say definitely wipe that sucker clean.
And to make it work, you have to turn off, if you're doing a phone, turn off Find My iPhone. If you're doing a watch, turn off Find My Watch, and then wipe it.
And also, for your Echo devices and A-Lady devices, if you have an older Echo, they have a little pinhole on the bottom that you can push in to reset, and that'll log you out of everything. On the newer devices, we'll put a link in the show notes, because there is a step of directions, but I forgot what they are. So
And for all of you with low vision, Brian's going to demonstrate how to do that hands-free.
hands free,
Yes.
exactly. You have to get a bobby pin in your mouth. Why does a man have a bobby pin? So, I think that's from
Because
Airplane.
Brianna will be here soon.
Coming out next week.
But hey, guys, great news. Emails,
Yeah?
emails. We got some emails. And
Oh boy, all right.
yeah, and the first one comes from an unnamed gentleman. And I'll start with you, Allison. He basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, he basically emailed us in and said that we're doing a disservice to the blindness community by talking negatively about Android, which honestly, I don't feel we do that much.
No.
You know, and he thinks that Android devices are just as good as iPhones. So why don't you tell the listeners why we think Android sucks?
Oh yeah, just as good as iPhones. All right, sir. Talk to me about Braille support. I rest my case.
Especially for this show, I invited someone to come on to the show, but by the time they got here, they had converted back to iPhone.
That's true. That's very true. Last time I checked with Android, when you're having difficulty just navigating the web to do simple tasks, it's a far inferior operating system. And from what I understand, the new Google devices are going to cost just as much, a first child, just like the iPhone costs you. Yeah, so none of these things are cheap.
And I'm sorry, if you can't magic tap to stop and start audio and stuff like that, that's a big flippin' deal. I'm sorry, but it is. And for me, the Braille support is not there. You can do some things in Braille back, but it's just, it's clunky, weird. There's no Braille screen input because they don't properly support multi-touch gestures. There's just so many things that as a blind person who is pretty Braille dependent, never switch to Android. Never.
Not even in a galaxy far, far away?
Not even in a Galaxy S10 far, far away.
Right. And there's always a lot of people that are going to tell you, oh, they've come a long way.
But they haven't come far enough. They started behind us.
Yeah.
Started behind Apple.
I could sum it up in a few words. TalkBack just sucks.
Amen.
Yeah, they've gotten a little closer, but they're still lagging behind, and I'm sorry.
And if that works for you, here's the thing. If that works for you, if you don't mind the trade-offs, if you think that for your use case, that it is a good enough device, then use it. But until then, the rest of us and our Apple bias are going to sit right over here and mainly focus on Apple products.
One thing that I'm really upset about is some people sell this to the educational departments out there, and so they go all out on either the Google devices or the Amazon devices, which are all running a form of Android. And the kids are in class falling behind because they can't keep up, and they think this sucks, so they go to something else and they want an iPad. And I think that's exactly why that iPad was put out at such a pretty reasonable price for Apple. If they're not exposed to an iPad or an iOS device and they've only used that, more power to them. If it's working for them, it works for them. But if they do get exposed...
Yeah, the Fire OS is better, and they are implementing some pretty decent Braille support. I have not really played with it, but I've heard it's way better than what you get on Android.
There's a reason there's no Android talkback podcasts out there. Yeah, so I guess that's why he's listening to us. But no, it's at least there's an option out there. If it sucks, hey, whatever. But thanks for the email. But we got a nice email, though. Emmy from Finland. Hello, Emmy.
Hi, Emmy.
She sent in a very nice email that says, I love your guys' show. It keeps me rolling on the floor with laughter, and it reminds me that I'm not the only blind person out there.
Well, thank you, Emmy. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Emmy. It was great when I got that email. It was from Finland, too. It's like, wow.
That's the country for me. Please tell me that somebody here has seen Monty Python.
I needed that email after getting the previous email chastising us for our comments about Android. It put
That's right.
It turned this frown upside down.
Thank you,
And a
Emmy.
Face ID prefers a smile anyway, so that's nice.
And we're going to dedicate this podcast going out to you across the oceans to Finland.
Yes.
Thank you, Emmy.
And this last email we got, we did get more emails, but we can't read them all, so we do apologize if your email wasn't read. We do read them, and we do care, and we do try to respond to all the emails, so keep them coming to thatblindtechshow gmail.com. But this last email was from Denise, and we had discussed several episodes ago that I was contemplating getting the Surface Go to use full Windows mode, which I decided not to when I figured that the price was going to cost me as much as a laptop. Denise wanted to know, and none of us are using the Surface Go, so if anybody out there is using the Surface Go with full Windows mode and another screen reader, go ahead and just drop us a line at thatblindtechshow@gmail.com. Let us know how it's working so we can let her know, and we'll pass that along and everything.
I like the Surface Book, but boy, was it expensive. Yeah.
But that never stopped you before.
That tends not to stop Allison Hartley. Yes.
Would you really recommend people the difference between the 7, the 8 to jump to the 10?
For the iPhone? Yeah.
Is there anything else?
He's not asking about an Android device, Allison.
No. If you have an 8, if you have a 7, yes, absolutely. If you have an 8, I don't know. You could probably get another year out of it, unless that you really want the performance upgrade that you get from switching to the 10S. It is quite snappy. It's even snappier than my 10.
Oh, wow.
So I'm pretty impressed. It all comes down to what you can afford and if you want to give up that home button.
How are those swipe up gestures working? You know, have you gotten used to those?
They're pretty flawless, I have to say. Once you learn them, it's really cool.
I heard it's dependent upon which case you're using, because sometimes down at the bottom, if you have the big old Defender tank one, it's...
Well, I had a big old Defender tank on my iPhone 10, and I never had a problem.
But you are Allison.
I am Allison Hartley, yes.
If you swipe down and to the right on an Android device, you could do some things.
Yeah, if it works.
Yeah.
Stupid angle gestures never. They got rid of those, thank God. You had to draw a circle and chant some incantation, and yeah.
I thought we were going to make it through a show without some of our people's favorite part of the show. And then late last night, something happened, and I was able to. It pissed me off. So we've got a what's pissing off Brian now besides everything. Yeah. So last night I put the Goldbergs on TV, hit the described video button, no described video. Hit it again, no described video. Hit it again, no described video. And it got me really angry because last season the Goldbergs had described video, and I began to wonder and contemplate. I wonder if the networks provide closed captioning for the hard of hearing, and then next season they take it away from them. What do you think, Allison? They do that to the hard of hearing?
The outcry. Could you imagine? There would be news stories and... Oh.
They won't hear of this.
And Jeff with the line of the show. Will it make it?
That's the show title right there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, it would be just utter mayhem in the streets, but we can't even get anybody to pay attention.
No, nobody even retweeted it. My angry tweet. And
I thought I did. I'm sorry. I'll go back and retweet it.
I thought maybe you did, and I don't really pay attention to Twitter.
Are you going to do a sympathy retweet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sympathy retweet. I never want sympathy laughter, but I'll take a sympathy retweet.
I'll do a pity tweet, yeah.
A pity tweet.
Oh, pity tweet. I like that. I thought I saw a pity tweet.
This is just despicable on the networks. They're like, ooh.
Despicable.
Let's take this away because we're going to provide described video on
because
this other show.
Because blind people don't watch TV anyway. Yes.
We've met our quota of described video.
Listen to TV.
Yeah. That's right.
And the stupid networks, they describe all these sitcoms where you don't really need it instead of the new action shows. By the way, the new Magnum PI sucks, even without described video. Yeah. Try and get an actor that has charisma to play Magnum PI.
Yeah, that would be helpful, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So, and networks are wondering why their ratings
Maybe
suck.
the networks are just hemorrhaging from all the cable cutting.
This is why.
Everybody's watching Netflix and Amazon, that's why.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just very disappointing and disheartening. I've never heard of them taking closed captioning away from a show that has it one season. I mean, this was just ridiculous, redonkulous.
Have you guys cut the cable?
No.
No. I still use cable occasionally, especially for just news in the morning and stuff. I just turn on the TV because it's right here.
I listen to a lot of sports, so I need cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the new devices, actually, that we forgot to mention, that Amazon mentioned, was they're now going after TiVo. Yes, Jeff, my TiVo from the 90s is calling and gets mentioned again. But The only thing is, it's only going to work with an antenna, so I have no interest in it. But it's going to record about 180 hours or something, and interesting to see that Amazon, like I said, they're going after any company they can. And Jeff Bezos isn't happy being, the richest man in the world. He's got to be the richest man in the galaxy.
Do you think if Blind Mice Mart had a network?
Yeah, I mean, I got to think the Blind Mice Mart would be more popular with the blind people than any of the cable networks.
Hey, it's why I pay for a SendSpace Pro subscription so that I can download all my
I do it the
stuff on
freeway.
Blind.
I do it the
Oh
freeway.
no,
and
I don't have the patience.
I just make a list of everything I want. If I hit my gig download, whatever it is, I just downloaded Solo with described video and something else, Avengers, which I've never seen any of them. So maybe one day I'll get around to watching.
Allison Hartley just pays for SendSpace Pro.
Is Blind Mice Smart kind of like the hidden underground?
It is kind of like the
only the
dark
cool
mode.
kids are members.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
mode.
wearing a members only jeans jacket.
Wow, good memory, Brian.
Yeah, very good memory. So we have some exciting news because That Blind Tech Show now has its own podcast feed.
Yay!
Yeah, so of course I have no idea what it is, so we'll put it in the show notes. And you can download it. I'm sure there's a bunch of HTTP : /
some XMLs and such, yeah. RSS and the like. Yeah.
Oh, you guys are so close. Let's try https : thatblindtechshow.libsyn.com/RSS. So close, so close. And Libsyn is spelled Libsyn. That's short for Libsyn Syndication. Yeah, low techies, raise your cane.
So we're getting excited as we're only about 6 weeks away from Laugh for Sight in New York City.
Woohoo.
If you're in the New York City area on Monday, November 12th, come on down. You will not be the next contestant on The Price is Right. Come to Laugh for Sight at Gotham Comedy Club. Legendary comedian Robert Klein is returning for his 12th year with Francis Ellis from Barstool Sports, Funny Lady, Adrian Iapolucci, Richie Redding, host Brian McCarthy, and unfortunately, we have right now 2 very special VIP guests. We just can't mention their name publicly. But trust me, these are people's names you will know. You could get tickets at laughforsight.com or at gothamcomedyclub.com. Click on the date November 12th. Tickets are $40 for general admission plus a 2-drink minimum and $125 for VIP seating with an open bar.
Oh, I want the open bar. I want to go. I know I'm like across the country, but I really want to go.
Is one of those guests Jaf Thompson?
And Alessane Hartleum.
I can't tell you who one of the guests is, but I can tell you who it's not. It's definitely not Bill Cosby. We had him booked, but he's preoccupied.
He's already doing time, Brian.
He's going to be on the next season of Prison Break.
He asked how much time do I get, and I said 10 minutes. He says, why do I want 10 minutes? I got 3 to 10 years.
Yeah, orange ain't the new black.
And no, Orenthal James Simpson is also not performing. So. But Jeff, what do you have going on now that you're back?
Well, up here in Minnesota, the Northland, way up north, we got winter coming, so we're getting ready. The leaves are starting to fall down, colors are changing. Snow happened just the other day up north in Minnesota, so we got to get ready for that. So I got that going on. I want the furnace on because it's been chilly. Lori doesn't want it on and stuff, so we've been going back and forth with that.
Jeff, haven't you heard of #MeToo? Don't fight the woman.
You're right. As we started this show, I should untie her now.
You've left her tied up all this time? I thought I reminded you to untie her.
Hey, if I'm going to be tied up with this show, why shouldn't we all join in on the fun, right?
So, Allison, while Jeff is updating his Apple Watch, what will you be doing? What do you have going on?
I'm just working and being on as many podcasts as I possibly can, checking out all the new tech, and you'll hear about it here when I do.
Are you now part of that Behind Bars podcast with Bill Cosby?
You couldn't pay me enough.
The bartender show.
The bartender show.
Yeah, the bartender.
Bill, we kid because we don't love. No.
We used to, and we're very disappointed.
How do you go from America's Dad to just
Yeah.
in only 20 years?
Yeah.
Anyhow, we have been That Blind Tech Show, giving Jeff a lot of editing work because the stuff you don't hear has been really funny.
Yeah.
You could download us by our new feed, subscribing to Blind Abilities, because even though we still have our new feed, we are part of BAPE, the Blind Abilities podcast empire. And for now, we are out.
When we share
what we see through
each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap
between the limited expectations and the realities of blind abilities.
The realities of blind abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities, download our app from the App Store, Blind Abilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.